Hey everybody, Mountain Grandma here. In today's video, I'm sharing with you how I went about making kombucha. Shout out to Milk and Honey Heritage Farms for sending me a baby SCOBY. I'm going to show you what I did with that, including the guidance she gave me and all the different flavors I've created. Let's go. All right, here is my gallon of tea, and I made oolong tea. Here's what I used. I'm going to add in 1 cup of sugar. And I'm going to get this stirred up. All right, now I'm going to let this continue to sit until it's completely cool, and I'll be back with you. So here's the baby SCOBY. Thank you to Milk and Honey Heritage Farms. I'm going to pour all of the liquid into my tea jar, my 1 gallon jar here, and then I'm going to set the SCOBY in there also. Here is that SCOBY. Can you see that? I'm going to kind of, whoops, let that plop right in there. So there he is. Now I'm going to get this covered with a towel and kind of secure it that way so it can breathe. So I'm not going to put a lid on it. I'm going to put a towel on there, and then I'm going to put this in a dark, cool room for 5 to 12 days, and I will keep you updated. So there's the SCOBY. I'm told it's supposed to look like this. And what I'm going to gently do is put some of the liquid in this bowl over here. And then I'm going to take out my SCOBY. My hands are clean, super clean. And I'm going to put my SCOBY over there. All right, now this I'm going to pour into another jar because this is my kombucha. All right, so my SCOBY mentor, Milk and Honey Heritage Farms, who gifted me with the baby SCOBY, said that this is exactly how it's supposed to look. Remember, I have clean hands. So you can see I got this white layer. Underneath, I have like a baby here. Now, you can separate these at this point or keep them together, because what I'm going to do is start another batch. Got a 1/2 gallon jar here. I'm going to get another 1/2 gallon jar for the rest of it because I want to try some different flavors. Do you see the fizzy bubbles on top? Zooming in. And let me show you, whoops. And let me show you what it looks like in the jug that I poured it in. Hold on. Lift you up a little bit. Scoot this guy over. I was told, put the lid on it and shake it. And can you see all of the bubbles? It's really weird because you would not do this to a soda, but it actually, doing that, did increase the fizzy flavor that I got from it. So that's what you do. I'm going to pour the other part in another 1/2 gallon jar. We're going to put these in the fridge and then get this guy over here. We're going to get him into a new batch of tea. All right, now here I have, if you can see it, there was 8 cups of water to 8 bags of the small Lipton tea bags. If you're using the bigger bags, you'll need to change that up a little bit. It's just fizzy because I poured it from the kettle into here. I made this yesterday late afternoon, and you want to make sure it's completely cool before you put your kombucha in there. So I let it sit overnight. No big deal. Now to this, I'm adding in 1 cup of sugar. I want to point out I didn't have my ratio right the first time and I still didn't kill the SCOBY. So the first time I just made a big old gallon of tea with 1 cup of sugar because that would be like my typical ratio. I don't, maybe even less sugar, but I did make sure I put a cup. But I mean, my typical tea, if I was to make tea, I wouldn't usually use a whole cup of sugar in a gallon of tea because I don't like my tea that sweet. So anyways, I'm going to stir this up. I want the sugar completely dissolved. All right, now we're going to put the SCOBY in there, but we want to add 1 cup of the tea mix to this. So I'm going to go ahead and get 1 cup measured out, and I'm going to add that in here. Adding that in there. And now I'm going to carefully and gently, sort of, put my SCOBY in there. There he is. I'll let it set for 5 to 12 days. And over that time, the SCOBY is going to grow, including like the baby SCOBY, because I put them in there together and I was told that's okay. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in a dark, cool place. And I'll be back with you. This is the new one, this new gallon jug, and you can see 8 cups is basically like a half a gallon. But you do need to use a gallon container so that it has room in here, and you can see the SCOBY in there. All right, so we'll be doing this a second time around. And for the other 2, I'm gonna see if I can flavor these guys. Right, I've got these bottles with 1 cup of the base kombucha, and these are the lids that will kind of go on there like that and then block in place. To these, I'm going to add in 1 cup of 100% pineapple juice. Doing it the easy way today. All right, so while I fill these up with pineapple juice, I just want to share some of the other juices that I tried with you to give you some ideas. I did try like a store-bought strawberry kiwi juice, cranberry juice, and like a mango puree, you know, the kind that comes in the can kind of juice. And I will say they're all good, but my favorite and the family's favorite tends to be like the pineapple, the mango. I haven't tried like a tart cherry juice yet, but I'll bet that would be good. You just don't want the juice to be too watered down. For example, the strawberry kiwi didn't seem like it was quite strong enough, and it had the flavor more of alcohol. Also, as you see me putting these lids on these, make sure you check these every day and that you pop the lids off, or you could have an explosion on your hands. That's why you have these bottles here, because they do build up pressure just like a soda pop would. And you can see the bubbles coming out of this one to prove that point. It does taste to me just like soda pop. But if you let them ferment too long, they might end up tasting a little bit more like alcohol. That's what happened with these guys. So here's everything I'm working on today. As you can see, I've got 2 jars of kombucha, and I've got baby SCOBYs growing on these guys. Here is some blackberry kombucha and pineapple kombucha. I may use this to make pineapple juice. These are blackberries. They look like raspberries, but that's because the color is all washed out. I just strain these off. What I do is, here you see strawberries, and there's a couple blueberries in there. Because these were frozen, I've added some filtered water, and I'm letting these just come to room temperature, because I don't want, when I add my base kombucha to this, I don't want to kill the good probiotics. But I will tell you, I have not done it this way and just added the base kombucha to this and to the frozen strawberries, or frozen, you know, whatever the fruit is, and it actually fermented just fine. So if you screw up, don't pour it out, give it a chance. Now, when I talk about a base kombucha, and this is, here's my little glass. I've got some kombucha in here that's actually filtered with water. Remember that when you're drinking kombucha, you're drinking caffeine. I can't tolerate that much caffeine, and I've already had a glass of kombucha today, so this is kind of watered down, but it's still good for me, right? Now, in here you can see the SCOBYs. They look kind of funky. This is a green tea one, if I'm remembering correctly, and this is a black tea one. I've also used other kinds of tea. You just want to make sure that it's caffeinated, because your kombucha is going to feed on the caffeine and the sugar. Now, this is when I talk about a kombucha base. Do you see the little bubbles? Yeah, there's good bubbles in this. Those bubbles mean that this sucker's ready. This is my oldest one. This one still has another day or so. It's got bubbles, but I'd like to see more bubbles than that. I don't know if you can tell the difference, but so right now I'm waiting on, not to pan over too fast, I'm waiting on these right here just to get a little, not so frozen. And then what I'll do is I will pour this into this this is a half gallon size jar here. And I'll pour it into this half gallon size jar and let it ferment in here. And then I strain it off so that I don't have berries in my bottles. So I'll strain it off into these and then still let them sit a couple days out just to get more fizzy or like soda pop. Another thing I wanted to share. I found this and this at a thrift store. Aren't they awesome? But here's the challenge. Let me put it up next to this guy that's been in the fridge. Can you see how much bigger they are? That's a problem because they don't fit in my refrigerator well. Just if you find any good deals like I did, just remember they gotta fit in your refrigerator. So now I'm gonna go ahead. I need to pour this guy off and get him into the other jar and get my SCOBYs set aside and see how many I have now. Do you see? It's almost like a SCOBY hotel. There's like several in there. Let me go ahead and do that and I'll show you guys what that looks like. And here you can see all the SCOBYs. By the way, when you end up with a surplus of SCOBYs, there's different things you can do with these. And you can look that up, but they're great for the garden even. And in your compost pile, I'll be mailing some off. But here's those strawberries too. I'm just going to kind of swirl around my kombucha base, add that in there to that jar, and let it set out for a couple days before it gets transitioned over to the bottles. And I hope this gave you guys a bunch of ideas to use. Go check out Milk and Honey Heritage Farms. She's got a video all about this as well. So see how other folks do things. I always think that that's a great part of YouTube. Thank you all so much for watching. And until I see you next time, try your hand at kombucha. And remember, everybody, keep your joy.